The thing that I've always done with my work is to try to provide people source documents. I've never saw it as my duty to convince anybody of anything. I'm not trying to, oh, please believe what I believe. I am simply putting information in front of people, and certainly I will deliver my opinion on it and my interpretation of it, but I will always link people back to the source documents that I'm talking about, and I'll direct them to information that I'd say 99 times out of 100 they didn't know specifically existed, whether it's the next million years reference or anything else that I'm talking about. People generally don't know about these specific pieces of evidence that at the very least might get their mind generated thinking about it, and hopefully at some point, once they've reflected on it, they will start researching it, and they may come to very different conclusions than me. That's fine. I don't mind that. I'm certainly not right about everything. I'm a human being. I'm fallible. I make mistakes. But I just want people to start looking at certain things that I think are important. And if that gets me labeled a conspiracy theorist, so be it. People who can't snap out of that conditioning to hear that word and to realize that they are being programmed and controlled to, once you hear that word, you will not listen to any reason, evidence, or anything else. If people have been that far steeped into the conditioning and programming, then perhaps there's no help for them at this point.
Have you been screwed with by YouTube at all?
Certainly, yes. I have a very specific and clear example, because people can talk till they're blue in the face about I'm being shadow banned here and there, but I have a very specific example of that. In 2014, I created a documentary about the Federal Reserve called Century of Enslavement, The History of the Federal Reserve. Now,
where can I see that?
On YouTube,
okay.
But if you can find it. For a number of years, it was the #1 search result when you typed Federal Reserve into the YouTube search bar. So anyone who was straying onto YouTube to look at information about the Federal Reserve was very likely to encounter my documentary. In 2017 or 2018, Chris Hayes of MSNBC got on Twitter and said, here's an example of YouTube's toxic algorithm. Imagine you're a high school student and you have an assignment to research the Federal Reserve. You type Federal Reserve into YouTube and you get this. And he shows the title screen of my documentary. The very next day you type Federal Reserve into the YouTube search bar, you do not see my documentary anywhere. It is completely gone. And that was literally overnight. Several months later, the YouTube whistleblower, Zach Voorhees, came out with documentation to prove that, in fact, yes, the term Federal Reserve was put on a search blacklist as a result of Chris Hayes' tweet. So I am definitely being screwed with by YouTube.
Wow. Why do they do that?
Very simple. In fact, it makes even more sense to me now, because I use physical computers to do my computing, because that seems to make most sense to me. I want control over my instruments. But we're being led into a world where less and less we have control over physical things that we're searching and looking for online. More and more, we have essentially vending machines, smart devices that just tell us what to do. And it finally clicked with me, now that I know, oh, smart TVs. People are using TV to watch YouTube. And of course, you're not searching endlessly and refining search results. You're just typing in some words and you get a few.
That's a good point, actually.
So you type Federal Reserve, they do not want that documentary being there. They do not want that. They want CNN, bland, mainstream information. And that's why they are working very hard. And extend that out a little bit. Right now, at least we still have physical devices that you might be typing words into. In the future, it will be hearables and wearables where you're just saying, Alexa, tell me about the Federal Reserve. It will give you precisely one answer to that, and it will not be the answer that I or other people would be giving.